Object. Only speak based upon your personal knowledge, conjecture, and speculation. Otherwise, I move to strike your answer unless it's based upon personal knowledge.
And you can answer the question.
Based on my personal knowledge, they were indirectly supporting it. Turkish government was indirectly supporting the American-Turkish Council. Certain individuals and operations and projects, yes.
Okay, and how were they supplying that support?
Without getting into specifics, is hard to explain. They could arrange for intermediary business individuals to make payments for certain activities, lobbying activities, or intelligence gathering activities, or activities involved in weapon procurement deals between Turkey and the United States.
So one of the basic means of support would be money, correct?
Money when they could, yes.
So if I said that the American-Turkish Council, for example, was an organization supported by the Turkish government, that wouldn't be an unreasonable assumption.
Correct. It would have been.
What about some of these other members of the Turkish lobby that we've talked about? Would I be unreasonable in assuming that those organizations might be receiving support from the Turkish government?
They were all receiving, the ones that I knew of, yes, directly.
The question was, could I just clarify for my own mind? The question was based upon the witness's personal knowledge. She knows that all the other organizations that were targets, they were receiving money from the government of Turkey. Is that the question and answer?
Mr. Fine's going to have an opportunity, I think, to ask some questions when I'm finished. But right now, you and I will just have questions and answers. So what happened when you reported to your superiors at the FBI that Ms. Dickerson was trying to recruit you for this organization, American-Turkish Council?
At the initial stage, this is for Washington field office, before it went all the way up to the FBI headquarters, there was a climate of panic. The agent I worked with, Special Agent Dennis Sasher, informed the counter-espionage section, department in the FBI, wrote a letter to the FBI headquarters, and he also asked for immediate damage assessment because some of our FBI counterintelligence primary targets, the targets were graded in different, they had different grades. Some primary targets were the ones that Ms. Dickerson was working with closely and she and her husband associating. So that was the initial response.
Okay. And ultimately, did they take any action against Ms. Dickerson or her husband?
Again, initially, during this initial stage, I believe, they asked her to take polygraph. And they also, the FBI's counter-espionage unit, they set up the date and time to have some kind of an interrogation. They called it the surprise interrogation session with her that they set up, but they were prevented from pursuing it later.
And they also had you take a polygraph test. Right?
Correct.
And the polygraph examiners found that you were not deceptive.
Yes, right? I was absolutely truthful.
Okay. Now, in your experience, both at the FBI and since then, what is it that the Turkish lobby, what kinds of issues are they traditionally concerned about in our country?
Various issues that I'm aware of. Some, the more overt ones, the foreign policy of the United States. Another, the weapon procurement from the United States and the military aid. And political front is the being able to secure grants from United States Congress for their operations, or some of them joint operations in Central Asia and Middle East. The front companies for construction or road building, etc. And to be able to secure these grants from Congress for those front organizations. Armenian genocide and preventing that from ever being brought up or passed in Congress or even discussed in the mainstream media is another political objectives that they pursue very strongly. These are the overt ones. So these are the overt ones.
Right. In your experience, then these are issues that the Turkish government is concerned about?
Not only, yes, Turkish government is concerned, but also other entities with their own special interests who are very concerned about these issues.
Okay. Can you identify those?
Some of them are business entities. The others are more like clusters of criminal gangs would be the best way to describe them.
Okay.
That may or may not be independent from the central government.
You mentioned the Armenian genocide issues. My understanding is that there have been resolutions proposed, introduced, discussed in Congress to recognize the Armenian genocide, correct?
Correct.
And those have been controversial resolutions over the years?
Correct.
And so when you refer to this Turkish lobby regarding that as an issue, it would be their intent to prevent such a resolution from being passed by the U.S. Congress, correct?
Correct.
Now, am I correct that, I know you don't work for the FBI now, but would you consider yourself sort of still involved in some of the issues that we've been discussing?
Somewhat, yes.
Do you, am I correct that you have a blog on the internet?
Yes.
Do you post material on that?
Yes.
One of the things that I saw on your blog is something called the State Secrets Privilege Gallery. Do you know what I'm referring to?
That is on my personal website that is public, justacitizen.com, correct.
Okay. And when you talk about the State Secrets Privilege, I think I know what you mean by that. Can you tell us what you're referring to?
State secrets privilege is this arcane executive privilege that the government, United States government, invoked in my case twice in order to quash my court case, but also prevent the public knowledge of information I reported to Congress, to the Inspector General's office, and to the FBI and the Justice Department itself. And basically it acts as a gag order. And the only justification the U.S. government provided for it was she may be right with whatever she knows and she believes is important and crucial, but because the information she has may threaten and affect certain U.S. diplomatic relations and national security, we are asking the courts and the Congress to consider these as executive privilege called state secrets privilege.
Okay. And just to bring me up to date, you filed a lawsuit against the government at some point, correct?
Correct.
And that was because of your termination by the FBI, right?
And my First Amendment rights, correct.
And if I understand it correctly, the government used the state secrets privilege to get that lawsuit thrown out.
The first invocation, yes.
Okay. Was there a second invocation?
Yes. My deposition was subpoenaed by a law firm called Motley Rice. I think it's M-O-T-L-E-Y, separate word R-I-C-E, who represented thousands of 9/11 victims' family members. Mm-hmm. And they subpoenaed my deposition. And I believe this was in 2004. that was when the government, FBI, and the Justice Department went to the judge who was sitting on my case